and the old, life and work just carry on. So take a good look and you'll see that they ordinary people like you and me feel free to come to the village we are. You'll meet the people I know and some that just come and go. And yeah, your life's not your own. Everybody knows what everybody knows. So take a good look and you'll see that they ordinary people like you and me feel free to come to the village we are.
Hi. I didn't mean to be late. Hilton wanted to see me about something and he started telling me about his weekend. Apparently, Sir Noel and Teddy launched straight into a flaming row. The next day, Teddy was gone. Wendy took him to the airport and he got on a plane to Buenos Aires. Hasta la vista. Not that Hilton's complaining. Teddy had obviously long overstayed his welcome as far as he and Diana were concerned anyway.
The stuff is in the warming drawer. I'm going to bed.
I'm trying to be friendly.
That's really big of you. When I tried to be friendly, what sort of response did I get? The sulks and the mutters. Yet I'm expected to be on 24-hour standby as a loving and understanding wife. Well, understanding and affection aren't things I can just turn on when it's convenient to you. There's ice cream in the fridge if you want it.
I had good reason to feel the way I did. What do you imagine it's like being compared to someone like Quintus?
So that's what's really bothering you.
You should know.
I knew it was something to do with Quintus, but I didn't for one moment think that you'd be so childish as to imagine...
I've got eyes in my head. I could see what was going on.
You could see what was going on?
Look, I knew you weren't having an affair or anything like that. It's just that, under the circumstances, I think you could have been a bit more sensitive.
What do you want me to do? Treat you like some sort of invalid because we can't have children?
It's understandable you prefer a thoroughbred stud like Quintus, but you didn't have to make it quite so obvious.
Rocky, I refuse to take that seriously. Any designs I have on Quintus exist entirely in your imagination, and what's more, I think you know it. I'll tell you what the trouble is. Dr. Roxburgh is feeling sorry for himself. He wants to be a father, and it isn't working out that way. While self-remorse is something you've got no right to monopolize. How do you think I feel when Adele Dixon produces a bouncing baby girl as easily as falling off a chair? What do you think my feelings are when the women on the reef shake their heads and say, ah, shame, and stare at me as if I'm some sort of freak? Do you think you're the only one who's entitled to demand sensitivity?
I bet the McRae's were glad to see the back of him.
I quite like the chappie.
Oh, he was harmless, you know, but hardly a good marriage prospect for Wendy McRae now, was he? Hello, Sally.
No, Mrs. Roxburgh.
Don't your arm? Cheetah, we've been talking about that Harvey Walker bloke. You know, he's going to South America. Gone with the wind. We were wondering whether he was ever going to leave. You know, he was there for over 3 weeks. That's how long he stayed with the McRae's. Now, I mean, it's not even as though he was a relative like Mrs. Clay's mother. She's been there over 4 months. But now that's different, isn't it?
Could I have a packet of soap powder, please?
Oh, all right. Yes, I heard about your machine. Ted Shaw told me there was something electrically wrong with it.
It's fine now. Thanks, Connie.
You?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mrs. Roxburgh.
Now, what's got into her?
Odd bird, eh?
Talk. My goodness. Why don't they give us a bit more action on this thing?
I would have thought you'd have gone back to Corsica. Isn't that where his interests lie?
Wouldn't surprise me what he does next. Most unpredictable character I ever met.
Well, that's not altogether a bad thing. It is possible to be too predictable. You know, I do wish Jan had been here. Underneath all that hair, he's definitely quite a catch. And as the McRae so obviously missed the boat...
Oh, rubbish.
What's rubbish?
Eh?
What's rubbish?
I remember him. Every time he opens his mouth, he puts his foot in it.
Who's she talking about?
Some politician.
She can't hear a word they're saying. The sound's not even on.
There he goes. Yap, yap, yap.
Doesn't like his face, it doesn't matter what he says.
Oh, shut up.
Rocky and Quintus talking to each other yet?
Eh?
Oh, now you're just sounding like Mom, eh? Eh?
Hey,
Oh, no, don't worry, Mum. I'm talking to Basil.
this one reminds me a bit of Donald, Nellie. Doesn't he remind you a bit of Donald?
Well,
What's this about Rocky and Quintus?
Same nose. Look at his nose, Nellie.
well, you see them every day. Haven't you noticed anything?
Of course they're talking to each other. They've got to.
They've got to. They're only talking to each other because they've got to. There's friction there. You can almost see the sparks flying.
Exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
He's got more hair than Donald. Otherwise, he'd be the spitting image.
You say, I see them every day.
Honestly, you men.
What's wrong now?
You're so insensitive.
Yes. Just like that little dog of Miss Fothergill. Do you remember
Sally
that?
has been going
Nellie?
around with the
Yes,
face down
yes,
here for the
all
last
day
few
and all
weeks.
night.
Everybody on the whole mine knows about it. Everybody except the assistant manager.
Because the assistant manager has got better things to do than to gossip
Oh,
about...
Basil, this is not gossip. Two of your senior officials are seriously at loggerheads with one another. The wife of one of them is desperately unhappy. And this is something that the assistant general should at least know about, even if he's not prepared to do anything about it.
As far as I'm concerned, it is none of my business.
Talk about being predictable. Of course it's your business, Basil. That's the whole point.
As long as the two of them do their job.
Oh, my God. How many times have we got to go through this? I keep on telling you that the manager's job...
And I keep
involves-
on telling you that I am not the manager. My job has to do with production.
Well, you're not always going to be the assistant manager, we hope.
All right, I accept that if and when I am the general manager, these
But
are matters that will
now
concern...
is the time that you should demonstrate that you're not only aware of these problems, but capable of dealing with them.
It is not my responsibility.
Well, it should be. You can't go through life blissfully unaware of all the things that are going on.
It is not my business to interfere in people's private affairs.
Basil, when a social time bomb is ticking away under your feet, it is your business to know about it and help defuse it before it explodes.
Social time bomb.
It's not only your business, it's mine as well.
What do you propose to do about it?
Well, I propose to do something about it now, not wait until I'm the wife of the general manager.
Like what?
Like showing some concern and seeing if I can help in any way.
You people better pull your socks up if you want to compete with this lot.
Jenny, oh Jenny, my promise was true. I'll find a fortune and I'll marry you.
Aren't you working today?
Eh?
Aren't you working today?
So I told you my night shift.
What have you done to your eyes?
Oh, it's an occupational hazard called pink eye. Half the guys on my shift have got it. It's pretty contagious, so you better keep your distance.
Have you got something for it?
Yeah. Hey, I wrote a song. You want to hear it?
Not particularly.
Like that sly old wing couple dust in a prospectus bag can steal from a woman the heart of a man. With his pick and his shovel, he'll dig till he's old, and he'll die with his boots on, still searching for that gold. Hey, Adele.
Is this the inn?
Yeah, sure, come in.
May I leave the
Sure,
camera?
come in. Sally's just in the kitchen. Sal, Adele's here. Hello, chubby one. Lovely, man.
Hello. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you.
What is it?
Well, I was just passing, and I thought, since you used to be a nurse, you remember that rash that she had? It won't go away.
Have you shown Sister the toy?
Well, I only see her once a week now, you see, so I thought since I was passing I could just drop in.
It's nothing. It's almost gone.
Well, it sort of comes and goes, you see.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it.
I thought I'd just check.
If it gets any worse, I shall give Sister the toy a ring.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you, but you know how it is with a baby.
Yeah.
You worry your head over the slightest thing. Okay, I must be going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. Thanks. Bye.
Tell Ted I'll take him about 5:30.
Okay.
We're on the same shift tonight.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Geez, Sal.
That wasn't a rash. That was nothing.
Well, I suppose she didn't know what it was.
She knew there was nothing wrong with that baby. That was just an excuse.
For what?
To come and spy.
Sally.
You can't even have your washing machine fixed without the whole of Village Reef knowing about it. They could even tell you what was wrong with it. And I'm sick of it.
Well, maybe she just came to...
Came to what? Show off the baby?
To be friendly, that's all.
She's no friend of mine. This is the first time she's ever been inside this house.
Well, she must know how it feels.
How should she, of all people, know how I feel?
You know what I mean?
You mean she came to sympathize?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need their sympathy. And I don't need the brazen curiosity that goes with it. I just want the whole lot of them to leave me alone.
It's the baby, man, that's what it is.
You mean Sally's kind of jealous or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
But she used to adore the little thing, man. She used to come round to my house just so that she could hold her. That's why I thought if I just dropped in, you know, like before.
I had the same thing happen to me once. I had a friend who couldn't have a baby. Then I had Mildred. She went off me just like that. She wouldn't even see the baby. But in the end, it all came right. You'll see. It'll come right like that with Sally, too.
I hope so.
You know, I think I'll go and have a heart-to-heart talk to Sally. Get it all off her chest.
I think she'll talk to you.
I've known Sally since she was that high. If she can't talk to me, then who can she talk to?
The support's too far from the face. It's dangerous and something ought to be done about it. Quintus?
We had to remove some of the temporary support to get the face scraping.
The fact remains it's dangerous. So?
With respect, I think that's a mining evaluation, not a geological one.
Rocky? It's vitally important to support the gully area between the stope face and the front row of permanent support. By removing the...
Perhaps Dr. Roxburgh will explain how we proceed with mining operations if we couldn't get a scraping.
You don't have to use a scraper, do you?
The only problem is we happen to have a tonnage quota to meet. That is why it is a mining...
What does that matter? A dangerous situation is a dangerous situation.
So didn't the two of you sort this out when you went down there? Didn't you point out the problem to Rocky?
No.
You did go down to have a look, didn't you?
Well, I went down yesterday morning.
And I went down in the afternoon.
I see. Why?
They're not talking to each other, that's why.
Why not? Why not, damn it? This is your work we're talking about.
Ask.
You know what I think about that support. It's up to you to decide. Excuse me.
Sorry, Basil, but I think you should go down and have a look yourself.
Things can't go on like this, Quintus. Sooner or later, Hilton's going to find out.
Look, there's no point in talking to me about it. I'm not responsible.
Then what's the problem?
Don't ask me. Ask your chief geologist.
I know he's not talking to you, but you're not talking to him either.
Hang on a sec. I said I wanted him to take a look at that gully. He said fine. So I said, okay, we'll go down tomorrow. Naturally, I meant we'd both go down together. But no, what does he do? He goes down on his own. Well, if he can't even go underground in the same cage as me, that's his problem, not mine. Why he's behaving like this, you ask him. And I wish you better luck than I have.
I shall never forget when Basil was first appointed underground manager and we moved into Boss's Row. It was like the first time I'd ever appeared on the stage. I knew that finally I'd arrived. But I'd never felt so lonely and so exposed, knowing that all those people were watching my every move. Living on a gold mine is rather like living in a goldfish bowl. The higher one rises, the more one's on display. But one has to adapt for one's husband's sake. And once one realizes that, well, one realizes it isn't nearly as bad as one imagined.
Oh, one does. When one marries a mining man, one realizes one has to make all sorts of sacrifices, like one's privacy. But one does it cheerfully and willingly for one's husband's sake.
Now, take the case of Quintus. Now that his marriage has broken up, the whole mine is waiting with bated breath to see what happens next. Imagine the speculation. Poor boy, he only has to glance at another woman to set all those tongues wagging. I feel very sorry for him. I think it must be simply awful, so unfair, so inhibiting.
Don't you believe it? Quintus loves the attention he's receiving, and there isn't a woman on the mine whose heart doesn't miss a beat the moment he walks into the room.
Well, I must say,
We'd all throw ourselves at his feet if we had the chance. What a change from our dreary, conventional, stereotyped husbands. What an adventure. But one doesn't, obviously. One daren't even flirt with him, too obviously, for one's husband's sake.
Oh, well, oh, good heavens, look at the time. I really must fly.
She's up, ladies.
Oh, I didn't want anyone to go to any trouble.
Do you take milk, Mrs. Clay?
No, thanks. I'll do it. Thanks. Sally, I'm so sorry that you've never taken up bridge. It's really awfully friendly and jolly good fun, you know. I think you'd enjoy the... thanks. The camaraderie. And you know, if one's going through a sticky patch, as we all do from time to time, well, it leaves less time for you to stay at home brooding.
When we first got married, Rocky was working on a project in Botswana. We lived in a caravan under a thorn tree, and our nearest neighbour was 120 kilometres away. I've never been so happy in my entire life.
That's all very well for newlyweds. Once the novelty's worn off and the children start arriving, I mean, it's... Oh, dear. Sorry, Sally.
That was rather soon in your case, wasn't it? Rocky and I have been more fortunate. We've had 3 years of each other's exclusive company, and there's been no need and no hurry to start a family.
Sally, at the risk of being accused of prying or even interfering, I must say that you're being very evasive. We all know that you and Rocky are trying very hard to have a family. And we also all know that Rocky and Quintus are no longer on speaking terms. Rumours are starting and people are starting to talk. Now, you have lived on a gold mine long enough to know how damaging this sort of thing can be. And I'm afraid it's no good fiercely pretending that everything is absolutely fine when it so obviously isn't.
Okay, I'll go. Time I had chocolate mousse. Pretty soon I'm going to be a good catch one day.
And have you tried the biscuits? Nick
What
made
an
them.
eventful
They're
day.
delicious.
Pretty soon. Come here.
Is Sally in?
She is indeed.
Hello.
Hello,
Another visitor.
Just
Pretty
in
soon
time
he's going to
for
be standing room only.
I haven't come to stay.
I know, you just happen to be passing. Like Mrs. Clay.
Well, you see, Mrs. Van der Waal made some lovely water cookies, and I thought I'd bring them to her by hot, because, you know, they sell just like hot cakes. I'll just put them in the kitchen.
Now, let me. Shall I boil some more water?
No, Nick, you're fine, thanks.
Okay. Look at this. Ordered cookies.
Do sit down, Connie.
Well, I can't really stay, you know, very long, because, you know, Cheese is looking after this shop.
That means you've got all the time in the world. We're having such an interesting little chat. Sugar?
Oh, I've got to go and shower.
Rocky. I had a word with Quintus this morning. It's quite obvious that the two of you aren't exactly seeing things eye to eye. I asked him what the trouble was. He said he didn't know. He said that you seem to have it in for him and he doesn't know why.
It's got nothing to do with the job. It's a purely personal matter.
It's all very well until personal matters start affecting your work, which seems to be the case.
That was a misunderstanding. I didn't know Quintus wanted me to go underground with him to inspect that gully.
You're not on speaking terms.
If we weren't on speaking terms, we couldn't operate.
You must admit that...
We discuss what needs to be discussed. That's all the job requires.
Just a minute. You know as well as I do that in this job, personal relationships are vitally important.
Excuse me, Basil. I've got a meeting with Hilton and the group rock mechanics engineer in 15 minutes.
What happened? He fell off the seesaw.
Do you know his name?
He's Johnny van Merwe.
Where does he live?
Willeke Street 17. I think his father's a shift boss.
My goodness. Is he all right?
I think he's been cut.
I'll go with you. I can hold him while you drive the car.
I think he's dead. No.
Well, reading between the lines, Sally is clearly attracted to Quintus. Look, I'm not suggesting it's anything serious, but it doesn't have to be, given the fact that they can't have children and given the vulnerability of the male ego. Well, the rest is simple psychology. There you have it. The problem in a nutshell. How to resolve it is something else. I'd like to help. In fact, I've shown that I'm prepared to go out of my way to help. But after today's little performance, I'm afraid Sally Roxburgh can expect no more sympathy from me.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mum. Enjoy your walk.
Time, Lily.
You've still got 5 minutes.
I feel the same way about him.
Who?
Rocky.
You mean you actually spoke to him?
Come on. I just happened to mention it. I didn't get any further than you did.
He denied everything.
Yeah.
Well, we've tried. At least we've done our duty.
The Roxburghs have got the same television.
Who?
Eh?
Who's got the same television?
The Roxburghs. He's one of the bigwigs. They've got a nice big house and the same television.
Maybe she means the Roxburghs.
She's never been to the Roxburghs.
We had butter cookies for tea, homemade too.
Do you mean Sally Roxburgh, that pretty girl?
You can buy them at the shop. The lady on the switchboard makes them.
When did you have tea with the Roxburghs?
That's right, Mrs. Roxburgh. Pretty as a picture. I bet you boys have got your eye on her. We took the little boy home who fell off the seesaw and banged himself. And then we got talking, me and Mrs. Roxburgh. And I said, haven't you got any children then? And, oh my goodness, the whole story came out. All about her husband and the medical tests and all the business. And then she started crying. So I said, look, my girl, let you and me go and get a nice cup of tea. She said, well, let's go to my house. So we went to her house, and we had a nice long talk, just the two of us. What's your husband like to eat? I said. What's his favorite meal? She said, well, he likes liver and onions, but I can't stand it. I said, right, give him liver and onions. And she just laughed. I said, go on, try it. So what do you think Mr. Roxburgh's going to get for supper tonight?
Fried onions.
And what else?
I can't believe it. Sally hates this
So
stuff.
do I. Well, some people say it with flowers. Others say it with flowers and liver and onions.
Let's try again.
I'd like that.
You can have anything you want for supper.
Well, let's see what you got.
The village reaped their home, built on a pile of gold. And for the young and the old, life and work just carry on. So take a good look and you'll see that they ordinary people like you and me feel free to come to the village reef. Free to come to the village reef.